It's called the flock of Jethro. This is Exodus 3, verse 1. The next account is of Jethro's flocks, which is recorded in one verse, in Exodus 3:1. In order to understand the context and the picture that is being made, we have to go back to an earlier point in Moses' life and follow the events up to the time that he leads and tends to Jethro's flock. Moses, whose name means he who draws out, is a type of Christ. This is explicitly seen in Acts chapter 7 during Stephen's speech to the leaders of Israel. Just as the Hebrews challenged Moses' authority in Exodus chapter 2, the leaders of Israel challenged Jesus' authority during his ministry among them. After this occurred, Moses went to Midian, and there he took a Gentile bride, Zipporah. Likewise, Jesus departed his people and has also taken a Gentile bride, pictured by Moses' marriage to Zipporah. He stayed there for a full 40 years. E.W. Bullinger defines the meaning of 40 in Scripture. Now, I want you to think of God's working through the church as I read what 40 means. It has long been universally recognized as an important number, both on the account of the frequency of its occurrence and the uniformity of its association with a period of probation, trial, and chastisement. Not judgment, like the number 9, which stands in connection with the punishment of enemies, but the chastisement of sons and of a covenant people. It is the product of 5 and 8 and points to the action of grace leading to and ending in revival and renewal. Think of Israel under punishment being led to a period of revival and renewal. This is certainly the case where 40 relates to a period of evident probation, but where it relates to enlarged domain or to renewed or extended rule, then it does so in virtue of its factors of 4 and 10 and in harmony with their signification. In other words, the duration of the church age is perfectly summed up in these 40 years that Moses spent in Midian. But there was a time for Moses to depart and to go back to Egypt, which is a picture of the fallen world where his people, Israel, are. When Moses goes back to Egypt, it will be to face off against a new Pharaoh. A new Pharaoh. That's something that most people don't realize. This individual is a type of the Antichrist. The plagues which will come upon him and upon Egypt are only shadows and types of the parallel judgments which will come upon the world during the 7 years of the tribulation period. In fact, they are a perfect mirror of what lies ahead, culminating in the swallowing of Pharaoh in the Red Sea and the casting of the Antichrist alive into the lake of fire. However, before Moses returns to Egypt, there's the issue of the church, the flock of God, which needs to be dealt with. This is seen in just one verse of Exodus 3, and which we will now analyze. Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the back of the desert and came to Horeb, the mountain of God.